Welcome back to another edition of the Guerreros Azteca Podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around the football mexicano. So, gentlemen, I'm going to try to keep my voice down just a little bit because it's 2 a.m. here at home and I'm not trying to wake everyone up. But you guys will be watching this today, Saturday, later in the day, obviously. And if you haven't already, go check out my Mexico versus the Netherlands. It's not really a simulation, it's just some FIFA gameplay. And yeah, check it out if you're interested. So what we're going to talk about today is obviously the round of 16, the Mexican national team facing off versus the Netherlands. Can Mexico finally make it past that fourth game? Can they finally advance to the quarterfinals? The fifth game that just El Tri cannot get to, World Cup after World Cup. Is this it? Mexico's playing very, very solid, but in front of them is a Netherlands team with a lot of stars. Arjen Robben is playing out of his shoes, man. That dude is a one-man counterattack, and that worries me greatly because Mexico doesn't have a lot of speed in their backline. Mexico, with Rafa Marquez, he's not very fast. Rafa Marquez is already up there in age. He's not very fast. Hector Moreno is not slow, but I wouldn't say he's a speedster. He's probably the fastest of the center backs. Massa Rodriguez is not very fast. He's pretty slow, actually. Miguel Ayun is actually pretty quick, so that's a plus. Miguel Ayun is actually very, very fast. Paul Aguilar is not slow. He's pretty fast as well. But Gaito Vasquez, since he got suspended, for 2 consecutive yellow cards, you have Carlos Salcido taking his spot as a center defensive mid, and Carlos Salcido himself doesn't have the speed that Jose Juan Vasquez had. So that's another, I guess, con of having Salcido. He doesn't have the speed, and Arjen Robben, Van Persie, I mean, those dudes are crazy fast, and it's going to be a headache. It's going to be a headache. Mexico cannot be caught in a counterattack because they will kill you right there. So, we're going to talk about that later in this podcast. I also wanted to touch on the whole Luis Suarez thing just briefly because I know it's been it's been mentioned to death and just I'm tired of it too. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it, so we'll touch on that too. And rumors. We're going to touch on a couple of rumors because a couple of players from the Mexican national team are being monitored or are being looked at by a couple of scouts from different teams in Europe. Barcelona is one of them. I'll tell you which players are being looked at. If you haven't heard of this news already or of these rumors, it's not really news. It's rumors. Well, it's not even rumors, man, because this is happening. They are looking at them. I'm not trying to tell you they're going to be, Barcelona's going to, sign these 2 players, but they're looking at them. We'll see what happens. So I'll tell you that Barcelona is looking at some players from the Mexican national team. Atletico de Madrid. Who else was Milan, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Marseille, Olympique de Marseille from France. They're actually looking at Ochoa and another player. So I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. Let's get the Suarez thing right out of the way, I should have said. Again, it's 2 a.m. I'm pretty damn tired, man. But yeah, Luis Suarez, so he's picked up a pretty damn harsh punishment, right? For biting Chiellini, for biting a player on the pitch for the 3rd time. And by no means am I gonna defend Suarez. He deserved it. He deserved, being banned for the remainder of the World Cup. He deserved to be fined. I think he was fined $110,000 or something like that, if I have my numbers correctly. Maybe even more. I don't even know exactly. I thought I heard it was $110,000 or somewhere around there. But like I said, he deserved to be banned from the remainder of the World Cup. Luis Suarez made a horrible mistake, man, and but I think they went overboard with banning him for 4 months. 4 months, so that's also going to cut into 9 games of the Premier League season, I think, with Liverpool. So I think it was 9 or 11 games, something like that. A bunch of games with Liverpool. And then also, he 9 international games with his national team. He's not going to be able to play with them. And then the one that I thought was just ridiculous was he's not allowed to step foot in a stadium. What? Why? Why are they treating this man like a criminal? I understand what he did was horrible. It's the third time he does it, but he didn't kill anyone. he didn't put Chiellini in danger. I understand biting someone, people have bacteria in their mouth and this and that, but for the most part, you're not gonna kill someone from biting them. He didn't bite a chunk off of his ear, sort of like how Tyson did with Holyfield. He bit him, and that's horrendous. He deserved to be banned. He deserved to be fined. He deserved to be suspended for a couple of months. I thought 4 was excessive, though. I thought 2 would have been okay, maybe even 3. I don't know, but 4 months, okay. And then you ban him from stepping foot inside a stadium. Why? Why can't he, go watch his national team or go watch Liverpool play? Why? I don't understand that. Why this man is getting treated like a criminal. And then when it all happened, I was watching the game live, Uruguay versus Italy, and then I see it happen, and I'm like, oh man, he did it again. This man bit someone again. So right away, I hop on Twitter, and obviously all the memes start pouring, and everyone starts ripping into Suarez. And I was ready to have some fun with the memes and stuff, but then it was just sad, man. Honestly, I didn't think it was funny anymore, because I realized this man is sick. This man needs some psychological help, because he missed a step in his childhood, in the whole raising up process, that it's not okay to bite. We understand he grew up very, very poor, so he had to run the streets of Uruguay and ask for money and fight, probably, and that's where he would bite as a kid. But then right now he's a grown-ass man, and he still has that, and I guess it's just part of his instinct. He never got it out of his system. And whenever he's facing tough times, like he was during the game when he bit Chiellini, at that time I think the score was 0-0, and Uruguay was facing elimination with a couple minutes left on the scoreboard, and I guess Chiellini probably provoked them, but that doesn't justify Suarez biting him. It doesn't justify. That just happens on the pitch all the time. People say mean things to each other, trying to provoke each other for them to react, and the ref to give him a red card, this and that. But Luis Suarez, I don't know, man. This man needs psychological help. I thought the FIFA punishment was a little bit too harsh. He deserved to be banned for the remainder of the World Cup. He deserved, fines and this other stuff. But I don't understand the whole he can't step foot in a stadium. I don't see this man as a criminal. He made a mistake, and he should have been punished, but that was too excessive. But anyways, man, let's move on. Enough of that. So we're going to talk about the Mexican national team. My expectations for this game tomorrow versus the Netherlands in the round of 16. I'm actually pretty damn optimistic. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm actually very, very optimistic about this game. I feel the Mexican national team is playing great right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm pretty confident. After the game they put up against Croatia, which I wasn't able to upload a podcast for you guys, giving you guys my recap of that game, my thoughts on that game. But I thought the Mexican national team played a great game versus Croatia. Rafa Marquez with the goal, then another one from Guardado, then the third one from Chicharito. I think it was Perisic that cut one back for Croatia, but it was just too late. And I was happy about that, because Croatia, man, they weren't being very humble. Luka Modric was being actually pretty damn cocky, and maybe not cocky, man. They were just not very humble. Let's just say that. And then Kovac, I think that's his name, the Croatian manager. He also wasn't super humble. He was like, oh, we have better players than them, and we're expecting to win. We're not scared. Their knees should be shaking, this and that. But anyways, enough of the Croatia game. That's in the past, and that was a long time ago, or at least it seems like it was. I'm actually looking forward to this game versus the Netherlands. I preferred, if you asked me, would you rather face, or who would you rather have Mexico face, I should say, the Netherlands or Chile? I would have told you the Netherlands. I don't really know why. I don't know if it's, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. I don't know if it's a little bit of that, but I just feel like, if you're going to advance past, to the 5th game, to the quarterfinals, then why not do it against the Netherlands? Maybe Mexico matches up a little bit better with Chile. Maybe Chile is a slightly better match for the Mexican national team. Maybe they don't have, Chile doesn't have as much quality as the Netherlands, but Chile is a hell of a team, and I think Chile is gonna give Brazil a run for their money. It's gonna be a tough game, especially because they're both from CONMEBOL. They're both South American teams. They know each other very, very deeply, so that's gonna be a great match. I'm looking forward to that one as well. But I don't know what it is. If you asked me Chile or the Netherlands, I would have said I want Mexico to face the Netherlands. So here we are. Tomorrow it's the game versus the Netherlands, and I'm optimistic, man. I feel like it's gonna be obviously a damn tough game, and Mexico has to play a near perfect game. Like I said, Robben is gonna be very dangerous. Van Persie is coming back. RVP, the quality that man has is undoubtedly one of the best in the World Cup. The goal he scored versus Spain, oh my God, what a goal! Still to this day, it's the favorite one, and out of any of the goals that have been scored, it's my favorite one from the World Cup. So they have great talent, man, but I feel like their defense is exploitable. I feel like Mexico can do some damage, but you can't go full attack mode because, again, I feel like the Netherlands is going to be kind of waiting for Mexico. Once you lose the ball in the midfield, boom, the counterattack is going to come. RVP and Arjen Robben are going to be extremely difficult to stop, and you just have to be very careful in the midfield not to lose a ball there because it's going to be dangerous. Keep in mind the Mexican defense is not very fast. There's not much pace. Aguilar and Layun are pretty pacey players, but Rafa Marquez, Moreno, and Massa are not. Moreno is a little bit fast. It's probably the fastest center back, but he's not. You can't consider him a very fast defender. So I just feel like you can't make mistakes in the midfield. I feel like it's going to be a battle of the midfields, and I think I like Mexico's chances. I'd feel a little bit better if Gaito Vasquez was in the Mexican midfield, if he was playing defensive mid, but Carlos Salcido has a lot of experience, man. Carlos Salcido, he played in the Netherlands for a number of years. He actually won a championship, I believe, with PSV. Massa Rodriguez also played in the Netherlands. So these guys are experienced. These guys know some of these players in the opposing team. So I would feel a little bit better if Gaito was playing, but overall I feel pretty confident of the Mexican midfield. Right now, Hector Herrera is playing amazing, man. I stand on that. Hector Herrera, I'm glad that Miguel Herrera, El Piojo, didn't move him to the center defensive mid spot because I don't want him to be touched. I don't want Hector Herrera to be moved from that spot where he's playing as right CM. I don't want her to be moved. Then Guardado, he gave a great game versus Croatia. Guardado was the one that I was thinking maybe Gulit Peña could come in for him, maybe Marco Fabian, but after the game versus Croatia, I think Guardado is set to start this game, and I'm 100% behind Miguel Herrera for that. So I'm feeling pretty good about the Mexican midfield. Oribe Peralta doesn't seem to be in his greatest moments. He doesn't seem to be super in form, but Oribe appears when you least expect it. Oribe, you could always count on him. He's always a threat. He's always a defender. And he, even though he didn't score versus Croatia, he didn't score versus Brazil, he did versus Cameroon. But he gave a pass to Andres Guardado to score the second goal for the Mexican national team in the Croatia game. So he had an assist in that game. And, he's always a threat. That's what it comes down to. Oribe Peralta is always a threat. Chicharito coming off the bench is going to be a threat. Giovanni Dos Santos is one that has let me down, kind of, man. I thought he played a good game. I was gonna say great, a good game versus Brazil. He was all right versus Cameroon. Actually, he was good versus Cameroon because he had 2 goals that were legitimate and they were stolen from him. They were invalidated. But I think Mexico is gonna need more from Gio Dos Santos. Mexico needs more, man. Gio Dos Santos needs to come out and have a game like the one he did against the United States in the Gold Cup final in 2011, was it, where he scored that hell of a goal on the US, dragging Tim Howard all around the floor and then just finishing it like a god. That goal I will never forget. One of the most beautiful goals I've ever seen in my entire life. He needs to have one of those games. He needs to score one of those goals. maybe not. I'm asking for too much, but Gio Dos Santos has to show up, man. Has to show up. I'm liking Chicharito coming off the bench. I wish Gulit Peña was in form because he'd have a lot to add. We haven't seen him much in this World Cup. He came in versus Croatia. He got tackled very, very bad. I can't remember who was the one that tackled him, but that dude got a red card from Croatia. But man, I wish Gulit Peña was playing great right now because I'd love to see him. But he's I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Gulit Peña. I had him in my starting lineup before the World Cup started, and then all of a sudden he got out of form and he's not very, very much considered. But I'm looking forward to this game tomorrow. I'm optimistic. Like I said, I feel like Mexico has a solid chance. If I have to give it a percentage chance, I'd say Mexico has a 40% chance. Let's just say that. I was going to say 50-50, but you have to respect what the Netherlands has. And, we're all fans of El Tri. Probably if you're watching this, maybe you're more than likely a fan of the Mexican national team. You believe. But we also have to be logical here, and we have to. The rival counts, and the rival has great players. The opponent counts, and we can't just write them off. I feel like Mexico is gonna win. I want them to really, really win, but I have to be logical. I have to be reasonable, and I'd give Mexico a 40% chance. That's not bad, but the Netherlands has better quality players on paper. There should be a better team, a stronger team, and they are. They are. You have to respect what they've done. They came up short in the 2010 World Cup. They got in the finals and lost to Spain. I'm sorry, but if you have to give it a percentage, if you have to play the percentage game, I give Mexico a 40% chance, and I think that's not bad. Maybe even a 45. It just depends, Maybe I'm just completely wrong, and maybe the Netherlands will just blow them out of the water. I hope not. I hope to God not. I hope I'm wrong. Well, I didn't say that, but I'm very optimistic, man. I'm definitely very optimistic, and I just, it's a feeling, man. It's a feeling that I get. Miguel Herrera is there celebrating his goals with a lot of passion. The Mexican national team has blown everyone's expectations out of the water after the terrifying, horrible qualifying process that we had, going to a playoff versus New Zealand. Nothing was really expected from the Mexican national team, and they didn't only advance in a tough group, having Croatia, having Brazil, the host in their group. Cameroon was not very good this World Cup. Let's just say that. Let's just leave it there. Coming out of that group, and then not only getting out of the group, but getting out of it well, getting out of it without losing a game, getting out of it with only one goal against, is just good. They've played great. They've played great, and I'm looking forward to this game, and I feel like Mexico has a good chance of winning. They just have to play a near perfect game, but I feel this year is the year, or this World Cup is the World Cup. We'll see. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe it's just, right now I'm just talking crazy because it's late at night, but we'll see, man. So let me know how you feel about this game, man. I know we've dragged on for a couple. I didn't plan to make this super long, but it is what it is, man. You guys asked for these podcasts, and I'm happy to bring them to you. And I appreciate you. If you listen to it entirely, then I really, really appreciate it. But anyways, let's move on to the rumors, man. So, no, wait. Nah, I'll leave my prediction for tomorrow's game. My final prediction for tomorrow's game, I'll leave it till the end. So, let's move on to the rumors. So, it is said, and I've been reading all over the social media, and I've seen on TV and this and that, a couple of rumors and a couple of scouts watching certain players of the Mexican national team. Miguel Ayun and Paul Aguilar, the left wing back and the right wing back for Club America, the biggest club in Mexico. I'm just kidding. I was just trying to get some of you mad with that. Some of you Chivas fans, or maybe fans of another team. But anyways, Paul Aguilar and Miguel Ayun are being watched by Urbano Ortega. He is Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique is the new coach or the new manager for Barcelona. His scout is Urbano Ortega, and he's in Brazil watching, especially Paul Aguilar, a right back. After Dani Alves is leaving Barcelona, it's gonna happen. They're looking for a right back. They're at the World Cup. They're scouting talent. And Paul Aguilar, with his great performances with the Mexican national team in this World Cup, he's caught their attention. He's caught their eye. So they're looking at him, as well as Miguel Ayun. But it's a little tougher for Miguel Ayun, considering that Jordi Alba is still there. Adriano is still there in Barcelona. Man, it's late again. I'm sorry if I pause for a little bit too much. It's just tougher to collect your thoughts. But anyways, yeah, Jordi Alba and Adriano are there. So it's a little tougher for Miguel Ayun to fit in Barcelona. But right now, there's nothing on the table, really. You know, it's just rumors. They're looking at them. Maybe Miguel Ayun or Paul Aguilar won't convince them, which is what I'm thinking. I don't think. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but hopefully, man. I think Paul Aguilar is a world-class defender. I'm not even. Have you seen him in this World Cup? This dude is playing out of his shoes. Paul Aguilar is playing great. He's had a couple of amazing stops, goal line stops in this World Cup, saving Ochoa's net. So I mean, I wouldn't think it's crazy that Barcelona would be looking at Paul Aguilar. So I'm happy about that. More rumors coming in that Guillermo Ochoa, we all know his performance versus Brazil put him on the radar, which I don't think it should have. I think he should have already been in the radar, because this isn't new to Guillermo Ochoa. Ochoa with Ajaccio, he saves he has a bunch of those games like he did against Brazil. But this, it was in a World Cup. It was against Brazil in Brazil. So I understand how much that elevates his performance that night. So yeah, Guillermo Ochoa is being looked at from a lot of different teams. I've heard Milan is interested in him in the Serie A. I've heard Olympique de Marseille, PSG, is considering him. Monaco, Liverpool, and two that are more concrete, that have more validity, that have more weight to them, are the Arsenal. That Arsenal is very, very interested in Guillermo Ochoa, and Atletico de Madrid. Courtois is going back probably to Chelsea. So Atletico needs a goalkeeper, and who better than Guillermo Ochoa? So they're looking at him, and they're looking at Keylor Navas, the Costa Rica goalkeeper, who is a outstanding keeper as well. Amazing keeper, Keylor Navas. So they're looking at both of them. We'll see what happens. And I also heard that Atletico actually already sent an offer to Ochoa's agent, Jorge Berlanga. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens with Ochoa. It's for sure that he's gonna end up in a better team. He's not staying in Ajaccio, so he's gonna end up somewhere else and in a better team. Hopefully this World Cup. Hopefully he has an outstanding game tomorrow versus the Netherlands, or hopefully we don't even need Ochoa. Let's just leave it at that. Hopefully Mexico doesn't even need Ochoa, and Mexico just wins comfortably. Probably not gonna happen. But anyways, man. More rumors. Also, Atletico de Madrid was looking at Hector Moreno, the Mexican center back. He's being looked at. He already plays in Spain with Espanyol. So that would be a step up. I think Atletico de Madrid, the current Spanish league champion, that would be a step up for Hector Moreno. And also Olympique de Marseille, the French club, is also looking at Hector Moreno. So that would be awesome, man. Hector Moreno is an outstanding defender. He's also had everyone's been solid for the Mexican national team in the defense. Even Masa Rodriguez, man. Masa Rodriguez, props to him, man. We have to admit it. Not all of us, but there was some people that did have Masa's back. But I was one of them that didn't even think he should have made the final list. And I'm glad to say that he made me eat my words. And I know it's not only been me. I know a lot of you guys also didn't agree with him being in the list to the World Cup, much less being in the starting lineup. We all wanted Diego Reyes. We all wanted someone else in there other than Masa. So Masa Rodriguez has made us eat our words, and he's playing an outstanding World Cup. He's been solid. So it is what it is. Cruz Azul. He's been transferred to Cruz Azul. If you didn't know, America sold him to Cruz Azul. So Cruz Azul, if he keeps this up, they have a hell of a center back on their hands, man. So yeah, man, I'm pretty sure there's more rumors, floating around this and that. I've heard that Hector Herrera, there's a couple English clubs interested in him, but that these were the ones that really caught my eye. I think Hector Herrera is gonna stay in Porto for a couple more years, and that wouldn't be a bad idea, because Porto is gonna sell him if he keeps it up. they're gonna sell him for a good amount of cash. So I think Porto is gonna get smart with that. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys, man. It's been a couple minutes. Let's see how long it's been. 25 minutes and running, and it's 2:25 a.m. I started exactly at 2 a.m. I'm extremely tired. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. Hopefully Mexico could pull this off, man. I'm so optimistic, and I do believe that Mexico could pull off this win and advance to the fifth game, to the quarterfinals, and face off versus Costa Rica or Greece. How great would that be? Mexico versus Costa Rica, 2 CONCACAF teams in the quarterfinals of the World Cup with great aspirations, or one of them would advance to the semifinal. That's insane. A CONCACAF team in the semifinals. If Mexico and Costa Rica both managed to pull off wins, who would have thought that? Amazing. Anyways, we'll leave you with that. If Mexico, no wait, I still got to give you my prediction. If Mexico can be, I shouldn't even be saying this because I'm getting way too ahead of myself. But if Mexico beats the Netherlands tomorrow, I feel like Mexico has a great chance to reaching a World Cup semifinal. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that, man. Why am I saying this? It's too late, guys. It's late at night, and I need to go to sleep. That's why I'm delirious right now. But anyways, man, wow. Facing off versus Greece and Costa Rica. Costa Rica has had an amazing World Cup, super underdog, and I'm so happy for the Ticos, man, because that they've just played great. It's not like they've gotten lucky. They've just played great. And they're going up against Greece, and I give Costa Rica the upper hand, man. I think Costa Rica is going to beat Greece, and hope to God that Mexico defeats the Netherlands so we can go up against Costa Rica and we can have a CONCACAF team in the semifinals of a World Cup. That's insane. That's insane. Anyways, man, thank you guys so much for watching. Likes appreciated. Let me give you my prediction before I forget. I'm taking Mexico 2-1. There it is. I said it. Mexico wins 2-1. That was the score in the game, in the video that I posted today, and I'm going with that. Mexico 2-1. I'm not going to tell you who's going to score the goals because that's just looking into it too much, but Mexico wins 2-1. That's my prediction. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, man. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Let me know what you just feel. What are your feelings about this game tomorrow? Are you nervous? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Do you feel like Mexico has no chance? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Likes appreciated for the 100th time, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, bros, and as always, take care. Que viva el fútbol. Vámonos, México.